Pay attention. Watch out. Who's giving you the information? If you want to do something great, find out who the greats are, and literally learn from them, model them. Right? Do not look at your sun-run buddies that are still, stuck at the doors, and just expect for them to tell you how to be great on the phone. It's not going to happen. If that's what you're looking for, I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen.
Let him in.
Yeah,
There he is, the solar boss,
What's going on,
Ivan
guys?
Pashov. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Good to see you guys.
Yo,
How we doing?
Yo, we were looking at
Amazing to see you.
YouTube one day, looking for the solar like celebrities out there, the solar stars, and we saw Ivan Pashov with his freaking thumbnails, kick-ass thumbnails, I'll add. And then we were like, we gotta meet this guy. We gotta get to know you more. So I appreciate you getting on the Solar Post podcast, man.
Appreciate you guys. I've known Josh. I also follow his content. Amazing stuff out there, and I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited to be here today. So yeah, thanks for the invite.
Love it.
Look at that, Josh. He already knows you, bro.
First? There you go. Hey, the remote solar sales community's got to stick together, right? So I'm happy for it.
Oh, 100%. Like a lot of people say, like, oh, there's like competition, this and that. Dude, there's bread for everyone. Like, what are you talking about? If we're not helping each other out, like who's gonna help us? So there's enough money to go around for everybody. I can tell everyone all of my secrets and I can sleep well at night because I know there's a lot to go around for everybody. If you have that scarcity mentality, scarcity mindset, you're not gonna go far. I've seen it time and time again, not just in the solar industry, but like in other industries. Just people just try to hold on to their little secrets and whatever. And just like, no, bro, just let it all out. See what happens. I promise you're not gonna go broke.
When I was younger, I had the scarcity mindset. Oh, you don't want to tell people the secrets and whatnot, but nothing really came of it. Having that mindset, like if I think back, I didn't benefit from it. But then as soon as I started just talking and like, we'll work on a brand new project and I'll jump on a Zoom with a few people and just start talking about it immediately. I got benefit from it right off the bat. So yeah, it's difficult
100%.
though when you're young, you think you need to keep the secrets and like keep everything, but it's not what it seems. And you're right, there's so many customers out there for all of us. It doesn't really make sense.
100%, man. I couldn't agree with you more. I think when you're on the come up, you definitely you tend to have that sort of like, oh, I need to eat first before everyone else, and so, but once you have, some money coming in, whatever, you look around and say, hey, my whole team's winning, but everybody's winning. Like we're not worried about that. So, and that's what I got that from my mentor. I would say that I did, when I was starting out, I definitely had scarcity mentality. I grew up in a poor Eastern European country. I didn't grow up in the United States. English not my first language, I'm in Miami right now, but that's like my third time in the U.S. And so, yeah. So the poor mindset, the scarcity mentality, that was like ingrained in me, So, and so that one of my first mentors, I saw how he was dealing with people in his own industry, and he was killing it. He would literally tell all of his secrets to people that are quote unquote competing with him in the same race. And I was like, wow, that really hit me. I was like, wow, like that's crazy. And everybody's winning. I mean, he might be crushing them at a certain point or whatever, but it's just like, it just made me realize that scarcity mentality is just, it really doesn't help you. It doesn't help you a lot at all.
It's also the idea over implementation thing. So like everyone thinks they have the best idea, but eventually you realize, especially in sales and systems, like they have this amazing idea, but they don't have what it takes to implement it. And that's usually what I'm like, I've got that. And I know a majority of people don't. So I am totally cool with talking about whatever, because I very highly doubt that 99.99% of the people that get all the secrets have any idea how to implement and will never be able to do it. So yeah.
Well, besides your students, though, you want them to implement everything and learn everything, though, right? So there's that fine line, right?
100%.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Go for it. I was gonna say
No, go
we
ahead.
talk about like the secret, the stuff before we even start working on it in our community. We just talk about it and like what do you guys think? What about this? And they give good feedback, and that makes the implementation even better. And yeah, obviously when you have a platform, you know, that you do well if everyone that you're teaching or that you're giving software or training or leads to, if you've set it up so that you do well, then you obviously want to, you know, spill the beans and make sure that they implement. But even when you're speaking with a direct competitor, whether it's like another sales guy or maybe they're in a specific niche, I still feel, you know, maybe like very, very high level guys working on like new age technology might disagree with me. Maybe OpenAI should, you know, keep some of its secrets. But like we're not at that level, man. Like that's not the game we're playing. So
Yep.
I just speak with everybody.
Now, I'm with you, man. We're in sales, like we're in the game of implementation. It's not, most of the time it's really not the idea so much because it's so funny because I see people like they come to me, they probably come to you, and they're like, and you hit them with very familiar things, meaning things they already know and heard of. They're like, oh, okay, is that it? Like they're expecting like something
Yeah.
outrageous, and it's
A
like, no,
magic
bro,
trick.
it's just input versus output. Like that's it.
Yep.
Um, there's definitely tricks that you can learn along the way. I mean, just with any industry, but it's really input versus output, man. That's really what it is.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I love that. Collaboration is the way to go, and I think this is gonna be a fun podcast because of that. We can give some tips and tricks to the audience. But before we get there, I don't know if everybody knows your background. I'm still curious to know more about you and how you got into sales, how you got into solar. I know you told me a little bit about your from a different country and you're in Orlando now. Miami. Tell us a little more about your background, man.
Yeah, so I started out. So I grew up in Bulgaria. I'm originally from Bulgaria. When I was 16, I went to London, kind of like learned the language, whatever. I was there for about seven years, and then started personal training, whatever. And I was like, dude, is that life? Like I'm making like 2-3 grand a month, but is that it? Like I want more, you know? And so then I started doing some uh, odd jobs on the side just to bring in more money and whatever. And then one day I got into online sales through somebody that was based out of Lithuania. He was selling like an online course, like a course essentially. It was a course that we started selling, and I was one of the first people to help him like grow the platform and whatever. And that was my first online sales job. Before that, I did some tele sales and things like that. But for the most part, that was like my first ever thing. But we were selling uh, essentially a course over Skype to people all over the world. And then when I was like, oh my God, I can work from anywhere in the world, like I ended up moving back to Bulgaria and I started doing my sales from there. And then at one point, we were together for about 6 to 8 months. And I was like, I'm just going to do this on my own. Then I started, you know, doing my own kind of like sales for other people and whatever. And then eventually I came across, Ty Lopez, and what I don't know if you guys remember Ty Lopez.
Yeah.
It's back, here in my garage. So, and then the marketing agency, kind of like that came about, and I was like, wow, like that seems pretty fun. And then I needed something that's low barrier to entry because I didn't have any money. And I was like, okay, that sounds like something I could do. And I was looking at high ticket industries. Like I don't know what made me stumble across solar. Like if somebody asked me what made you get into solar,
Yeah.
honestly, nothing. I just had to pick something. I didn't want to be the jack of all trades and the master of none. I just wanted to pick something that I could call myself an expert at. And I was like, yeah, that's gonna be solar. And then that's how it all started. And so I've had a marketing agency for about, over 4 years now.
Okay.
And, we've worked with, probably I would say the biggest companies in the States, some companies in Australia, UK, predominantly in the States. And then I started my own dealership, and now we're working on like a software, that's like an AI tool that cold calls people essentially. So it calls the leads, kind of like Air, if you're familiar with Air,
Oh
but
yeah, we
it's
know
our
very
own
well.
proprietary. Yeah. So kind of like that, and then yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's not always been bright and shiny and whatever, but you know, uh, yeah, it's definitely been a journey. So that's
You
kind of a little bit about me.
you said
Is
nothing.
Bulgaria like a hidden gem? Because I love remote work. I'm living in Colombia right now, and I've never done Eastern Europe, but I know in terms of lifestyle, pricing, people, everyone's always hit me up with Eastern Europe. Is Bulgaria one of those hidden gems to live in?
Mm,
No, you know,
He
good
didn't
but
say
concern.
if
yes
you
right
work,
away.
I'll be honest with you, Josh. Like you said, you live in Colombia.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I mean the time zone is a little
Right.
bit, so you gotta come to terms with that, you know. So if you work from Colombia, they're in like what, Central Time, something like that, right?
It's Eastern time. It doesn't do
Eastern?
daylight savings, so it goes wild sometimes. I used to do. I was in Bali in Indonesia, which is the
Really?
wildest time
I've
zone
been
possible.
there. I've
Yeah,
been
I
there.
lived there for 2020 during COVID.
Wow.
And we moved into the US first in Bali, and then like 80% of my team couldn't hack the time zone. And then I realized how impactful it was. So I've mapped it out time zone wise. It's like West Coast US all the way up to maximum the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa. That's like the maximum time zone for actual actively selling into the US market. Let's assume it wasn't. Let's assume time zone's not an issue.
Right.
Is Bulgaria a sweet little hidden gem?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
All the Eastern European countries, I would say, Bulgaria,
Right.
Romania, they're really good because you really get to meet like really like good people. The culture is really good. It's really safe, which a lot of people
Mhm.
actually don't give credit for. If you've never been to Eastern Europe, it's very safe, man. I mean, you can. There's places in London that for example, 'cause I grew up in London, you can't walk around with a watch on. Like it's just you get into a nice restaurant and whatever, and the whole crew is like pretty much teamed up on you. The bouncer is watching you. They're checking you out. What watch you're wearing, this, that, and the other. So it's becoming really, really, really dangerous to live in places like that. So, but yeah, but Eastern Europe is really safe, bro. So for that, I'll give it 10 out of 10. And then lifestyle wise, yeah, I think lifestyle is pretty good too. But depending on what you like, it's always going to come down to kind of like what you prefer. But yeah, man, if you can choose somewhere where you can actually uh, you know, to me, like the time zone is one of the probably most important things now. You know, even though I don't live full time in the United States, I do enjoy being here because it's just a lot better. You can go to bed at normal hours. So it's
For sure.
definitely pretty good.
I'm still stuck on. You said that you don't know why you're in solar. And I love that, you said that you're like a marketing agency that sells solar. To me, those are the top solar dealerships when they're just marketing companies that sell solar. But I still gotta know like what drew into solar. Was it the money? Was it like something that you see going into the future is gonna be a good job? Or like there had to be something that said solar besides just, throwing a dart. Unless it was just throwing a dart. I don't know.
It was at the beginning, throw in the dark. I kind of like, I want to pick an industry and just stick to it. I didn't want to be like chasing the shiny object syndrome. And a lot of people think grass green on the other side, or the next opportunity is better than the one I'm currently in. So I didn't want to do that. So I was scared to be that type of person, and I didn't want to adopt that mindset. So I was like, you know what? Listen, let's find out who's winning in solar and model that. And I was fortunate because one of the first few clients that I had, he was probably the most successful individual that I've seen to date in terms of like building out a sales culture, doing everything over the phone. It was really compelling to me, and I was like, wow, like if I wonder if we could do that one day, and that just kept me going. And then I just see other clients like the amount they were paying me as a marketing agency. I was like, wow, like I'm getting peanuts. These guys are getting all the money. That's crazy. So I was like, that was my hope that one day my marketing skills are going to transition into sales where the big bucks are. And it was sort of like, and then I started a YouTube channel, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, if I stick and stay, it's bound to pay. That was kind of like my motto. So yeah, honestly, man, it was a shot in the dark at first, and then I think just like with anything, the more you do it, the more you're drawn towards it. So that's what happened. It wasn't love at first sight for sure. I definitely I saw kind of like I saw the opportunity because the world's going green. Very very small penetration in the U.S. market, which is obviously my ideal audience. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna stick it out and see what happens. I'm gonna put everything on the line and see what happens. And yeah, it worked out really good. You know.
You mentioned selling over the phones. So I'm a phones only guy. What's your take
Mm-hmm.
on video conferencing and Zoom selling then?
That's an amazing question. Thank you so much for asking. So, I okay. So here's the thing. I actually love Zoom calls. I love Zoom calls, but I love being on a Zoom call with you guys. I love being on a Zoom call with somebody that can actually join the Zoom call. Most people
Yeah.
cannot join a Zoom call, and we're leaving money on the table. So for that, I would say I will pass. I don't hate money. I want to be in the game to make money. And so I feel like there's a lot more pressure on the homeowner side for them to, be able to join the Zoom call and then figure out how their computer works and then figure out their mic's connected or it's working and then the audio and too many variables that can screw up a deal. To me, that's too much. Simple. Hey, John, I just needed to be available at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. All John needs to do, just answer his freaking phone. He doesn't have to join a Zoom conferencing call. He doesn't have to do anything, really, right? So removing the friction out of the equation for me was like, you know.
Love it. Speaking my language, yeah. I think video conferencing in the future will have a piece to it, but yeah, certainly tech problems and people, because demographic for solar is not 20-year-olds, it's 35, 45 plus.
It's true, man. True.
Very, very soon that's going to change, and the demographic is going to know exactly what's going on. But at this present moment, when you're dealing with 40 to 60-year-old homeowners who are in a spot to go solar, there's still a massive crossover of people that have maybe never done a single video conferencing call ever.
It's not just that. It's also that, if I had to figure it out with Zoom, I'll be able to get a homeowner Zoom and we can close the deal. We can figure it out. But it's also about training others in a scalable way where you take, like Ivan says, like take out all that stuff that can go wrong in that equation. Like, yeah, you can master it because you're an expert, right? But to teach others, especially at scale, that's where it gets much more tricky. What do you think, Ivan?
No, 100%, man. It's scalability is key, and a lot of people think it's difficult to pitch solar over the phone. I don't think it's difficult. I think it's different. I just think it's different, and the expectations around it are obviously different. But I would argue it's actually more efficient than in-person appointments. Because how many people can you see in a day? Versus the amount of people you can actually talk to on the phone. That's one. And yeah, I mean, with Zoom calls, I mean, maybe there's apps out there that allow people to click the link and just like see each other. Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen anything yet, which is
I
kind of
have
weird.
one.
If you guys know anything, like let me know. But
Got
I
you on
don't
that
know it.
one.
I don't know anything like that. But most of the time, it's really difficult and it adds a lot of friction to the sale. So yeah, I mean, 100%. And the reason why you guys are doing well is because you figured out that the Zoom model it's not really panning out. I mean, you are indeed leaving a lot of money on the table if you choose to do it that way. So yeah.
Yeah, video conferencing. I've said this a million times. Video conferencing also requires the sales rep to show more. So if we go back to KISS, keep it stupid simple. On the phones, it mandates that you keep it simple. You have to keep it simple, and many people freak out about that because they think it's too simple, and that's usually
Right.
when you're in the good direction. Zoom,
Yeah.
however, you're not just going to go face to face with a customer and pitch them. You feel pressured to show all these visuals and presentations and graphs and numbers, or you just feel silly on the actual call. And then you're required to overcomplicate it. So it's just not a good path. I think eventually it will be. Like there's an idea that one of our JD from Rufio is talking about is like an interactive video conferencing with an AI where customers walk through things and they click things and they go, I think that's future. But
Yeah.
in terms of my ticket, I'm closing you now, being as efficient as possible. I don't think it lends itself to a hardcore close and getting deals done right now, at least. I'd say.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah.
So, that is a common mistake when people are selling virtual is automatically think Zoom is the way to go. But what are some other common mistakes that, people make when they transition? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people's goal is to get off their doors, and virtual is one of those options to go to strive for. But what are those common mistakes that reps are making when they're transitioning to virtual, but not really doing the right trainings?
Right. So that's a great question. So one of them we already talked about, which is kind of like the expectations. The expectations, like the expectations are totally different. For some reason, like some people are okay with banging 100+ doors a day to set a handful of appointments or whatever, but they're not okay with calling a couple hundred phone numbers on a dialer. That's a lot
You're
more
just sitting
automated.
there listening to music.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, it's just I've always said it and I'll keep saying it until it's no longer true. I think the solar industry is backwards. I do not understand. If somebody can please explain to me, solar is a much better product. I would consider to a lot of the life insurance policies that are being sold. Why is life insurance being sold over the phone and has been sold over the phone for decades? And it's normal. And for solar, it isn't yet, right?
Yeah.
It's becoming a lot more, I mean, mainstream, I would say, but it's still like frowned upon. Like, still a lot of people are like scared to do it. And it's like, why? You're literally saying, hey, if we don't give you a good deal, we do not shake hands. You do not have to do anything. In fact, if I don't save you money, you don't have to go solar. You don't have to do anything, right? Whereas with life insurance, so one solar is saving them money. With any of the insurance policies, even if it's $50, $60 a month, that's still taking money out of the homeowner's pocket, right? And so, yeah, I just don't understand that concept. And number three, I would say, I don't know if it's number three, I lost track, but the next thing I would say is a lot of people, I mean, when you're trying to transition from door knocking to over the phone, I think it's really like a lot of people are wondering, like, where do I get leads? How do I get my leads, or how do I get appointments and things like that? So first of all, you have to have, I always say this. So if you don't put in sweat equity, which is time, effort, and energy, you're gonna have to put in equity, which
Yep.
is money, right? And if you don't have either, that's something wrong with you. I'm assuming you either have time or you have money. You can't not have both. That's just weird. Okay. But let's say you don't have the money to go for it. Just get a list of people. There's a lot of people that sell data, homeowner data, age data, whatever, and just put them through a dialer and start dialing. And you get yourself appointments. I guarantee you. It is not too difficult to do it. If you have a decent enough data, you can go through any of the, dialers that are out there, and I promise you're going to be able to, just like the door knocking, it's also law of averages. You are going to get appointments out of it, but most people aren't willing to do the work, and that's just what it comes down to,
Yeah, you mentioned number 2 there, the industry being backwards. Like, I always say, like, okay, list me your top 5 favorite salespeople of all time, and they are bound to say Grant Cardone, Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, and they'll start listing off phone sales guys like
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street, Grant Cardone.
True.
But then they'll turn back and say, I don't think selling solar over the phone is possible. Like, dude, like 3 out of the 5 guys you just mentioned were selling
I love that.
$10,000, $50,000 million fucking packages since 1980
Yeah.
over the phone. They're your favorite sales guy, but in 2024, you think that you can't sell solar over the phone. Like, how does that make sense?
Man, I love that. It's true, because we've all been following these guys for years, and a lot of other people that are still on the doors out there. So I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's true. I've never actually thought about that. It's funny.
Yeah, you said life insurance, mortgage, like all of these
Yeah.
traditional things that you're like, oh yeah, you sell it over the phone. Why the fuck are you selling solar over the phone then? What the what is it? So it's weird though, because I've been combating this for so many years, like over the past decade, just every single turn, whenever there's a new way to do things in solar, and maybe it's just blue collar industries in general, but I've only experienced it in solar. There's a legacy way to do it. The legacy operators door knock and do this and use Google Sheets and use pen and paper. And the second you want to try to change something up, they're very, very protective. And maybe it's for good reason sometimes, because people have something that works. But it just doesn't make sense to me why so many people just aren't willing to try or aren't open-minded to it.
Yeah.
Like even the phones versus Zoom thing, when I meet people that have been selling over Zoom for a year and a half, and I'm like, oh, well, the first thing I'm going to do to increase results is you're never going to use Zoom again. And they're like, yeah, right. I'm just going to stick to what I'm comfortable with. I'm like, no, that is the easiest thing that I'm going to tell you to do. That is the easiest thing that is immediately going to increase results. Oh, I don't know if I want to do it. Instead of door knocking, how about you do virtual? I don't know. Just a handshake, a good handshake. People like to do business in home. What is this, 1977? The hell are you talking about?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I actually, it's funny you say that. I didn't grow up in the States, right? So, and I always say I've never done door knocking. I've done many jobs, but that's probably one of the things that I haven't done. I have never done that, okay? And I always shit on door knockers, but I'll tell you this, man. If I lived in the States and I started in solar, just the way I did, I promise you, I probably would have done door knocking 100%, like 1,000,000%, which is cool. But then all of a sudden, now that I look at all of those people that are still doing door knocking, I'm like, you're telling me that door knocking is better than anything else that you could do from the comfort of your own home? Not being, I've heard crazy stories, people being like, what do you call it? Like they pull out guns on them, release dogs on them, like a lot of crazy stories, man. I'm just like, dude, you're willing to put up with that, but you're not willing to put up with, a few hours a day of like just cold calling, for example. Like, does not make sense in my mind. How are you doing this? But I guess if you, they have the example in solar is obviously traditionally being a door knocking industry. A lot more people that are going the door knocking routes. Of course, they're just like, oh yeah, that's normal, right? And just they follow the herd, and they don't look at options and anything else. And so So yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing to me because I've never done it, but I understand how people think.
Yeah, I
Everybody is
mean,
different.
we
Yeah.
built a
Go
massive
ahead.
door knocking operation back in the day, and I have door knocking stories left, right, and center. I had this
Really?
young 18, 19-year-old girl, backpacker girl that was knocking for us. She got locked in this guy's basement for 4 hours, and the cops had to come and let her out. I had
Oh
this other guy,
shit.
young kid,
Wow.
21-year-old kid, knocking a door. He's in the home, and then the homeowners like started saying, "You got the devil in you." Wrestled him to the ground, broke his leg, and then this door knocker ran to the front door, had to smash the front door glass open to reach open and open the door from the outside. He was in a cast for like the next 2 months. Like, I got stories.
Holy.
At the
A
same
dog bit me
time,
one
it's like
time.
door
But
knocking,
The way
door
you
knocking.
casually just brought up like the craziest stories I've ever heard. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we got stories, man. But at the same time, you learn so much in door knocking as you do with any outbound stuff.
Right.
So I do bash door knocking a bit, but I will always supplement and say, man, I've learned so much from door knocking, and you
Right.
can learn so much from door knocking.
Yeah.
The thing that I battle internally with is it's amazing. You learn so much. It's an amazing experience. You got a good crew around you, meet so many people, but I just don't want to be the guy still, using dial up when I got 5G available. That's the thing.
Mm.
And when I have so many eyes on people that are transitioning from the doors to virtual also on the front end, it's difficult because the majority of people assume that you're going to take a massive pay cut and massive performance cut when you go virtual. That's just because virtual and solar is so new that the averages of what people do are lower than doors. But the elites, the guys that are actually good at virtual, blow the doors out of the water. But because doors is just so established, everyone has like this average metric. And then they meet someone that tried virtual for 3 weeks and made 7 calls and
yeah.
got scammed and didn't make any money. And then they think that's the average because it's so new. So you got to sort of combat that disbelief with saying, no, that's not what virtual is. Here's the actual metrics you should be hitting for. And yeah, you could do it on a beach or do it at home, but it is going to take work. Just like door to door, when door to door first started, I'm sure people freaked the hell out about who the hell's knocking on my door. It's the same with virtual. It's just, yeah.
No, 100%. I'm glad you said that because it's to me it's like super weird how just people are not aware of the source of the information. I mean, like they don't pay attention to who they're getting their information from and their advice from. Like, would you go to your broke teacher or a relative who doesn't have money, hasn't got any business experience whatsoever, asking advice on how to build a business? Well, no, right? It's obvious. But then all of a sudden, if somebody's trying to break from the doors and asks his teammate, who also is at the doors, about his one-time virtual experience, paying $2,000 to a marketing agency and just not panning out, and all of a sudden being a scam, well, be careful with where you're getting your information from, where you're getting your advice from, because that could be detrimental to your success. So I'm glad you brought it up, bro, because yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. Just pay attention, watch out. Who's giving you the information? If you want to do something great, find out who the greats are, and literally learn from them, model them. Right? Do not look at your sun-run buddies that are still, stuck at the doors, and just expect for them to tell you how to be great on the phone. It's not going to happen. If that's what you're looking for, I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen.
Another thing is when you sell virtually, not only can you sell from anywhere in the world, you can actually sell to anywhere in the world, which is another big benefit. So like
Oh
which
yeah,
areas are you like you're like from Bulgaria or from anywhere in the world, but what areas are you focused on selling to?
right. No, 100%. Are you asking me?
Yeah, what's
Like
your
you're
favorite
asking me?
areas to
Like
sell to?
yeah,
For
I mean,
solar.
it would definitely be the states. Definitely be
Any
the
specific
states.
part of the
We don't
states?
sell. Yeah, so we like Florida, Texas, the some of the up north East Coast states, California, obviously, Arizona. There's a lot of good states out there, man. Some states in the Midwest are like forgotten. They're up and coming. No, like a lot of these people have never been hit up about solar, so the sale usually happens pretty easy. You know, even if it's a little bit more expensive for them, like they just love the idea, so they're willing to do it, and I just love that. So yeah, there's a lot of untapped opportunities, untapped markets. I definitely love selling in those. Most of the time, ends up being a little bit slower of an install time, but it makes up for how easy it is to have somebody show up to an appointment, or just pretty much pitch them solar and actually have them being interested in what you're saying. A lot of these things. So yeah, just a lot of markets, man. The U.S. is the place to be for sure. I don't know any other markets, to be honest with you. I hear here and there people tell me about the South American market, certain countries and whatever, but I don't know their laws. I don't know their incentives, if they have any incentives at all. I don't know anything about it. That the market that I know the most about is the United States, so that's where I'm going to stay at. It just makes sense for me. So.
What's going on, guys? Just a quick break before we get back into the pod to tell you a bit about what we got going on for you, some resources for you. So first things first, Virtual Solar Club, the home of all things remote solar sales, the largest community of remote solar sales professionals in the universe. We got training for you. We got support. We got networking, community, lead sources, software, installation, infrastructure. We're a big group of people that sell solar remotely around the world. If you want to transition or to start selling solar remotely, get software, get all the resources you need to do so, you can use code SOLARPULSE on registration and get a bunch of discounts for you. We're here for you. We're ready to support you. Let's sell some solar remotely. What do you say? Joe, you got anything for us?
Oh yeah, SolarCon is right around the corner, and this is going to be our third year, and we're looking at the most epic event ever, and it's going to be at the same place, same time, April 18th, 19th, and 20th in Salt Lake City at the Soul Palace Convention Center, and we're going to have Gary Vee headlining. We got Andy Elliott, Jeremy Miner, David Meltzer, and over 150 speakers and trainers training all aspects of the solar industry. And then the highlight of the event every year is our expo floor, where we're going to have the piano player to the presidents, lounges, activities, bars, and the best conversations you've ever had at a conference is with the feedback we get from everybody. So if you guys haven't signed up yet, get your tickets now. We have an extra discount for you guys, an extra 10% on top of the website has. Just go to attendsolarcon.com/virtual solar. Again, that's attendsolarcon.com/virtual solar, and you will get the biggest discount anybody has to offer. So if you guys don't know, now you know. Let's get back to the podcast. Man, we could talk solar all day for sure, but I really wanted to get into some of your YouTube stuff and your social media and your thumbnails, if that's cool.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
So, first thing that caught my eye, looking at your stuff is your thumbnails. So I just wanted to just talk about it. Do you have your team? Is this something you do really well at, or and how long did it take it to evolve to get to how good it looks right now, man? Just straight up, it looks amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I have my team. They do pretty much like everything. They do video editing. I have three video editors, and they're working on I have another project that I'm working on now. So they're doing a lot of the ads, kind of funnel videos and things like that. So, and I have a separate team that works on the thumbnails specifically. All they do is just thumbnails.
I knew it.
I try to do so. Yeah, so I try to do. I mean, it's funny, man. It's just if you have somebody do your videos and then have them be a great designer for thumbnails, it's super rare. I haven't seen that, to be honest. Most of the time, people that are good at thumbnails, I mean, they're just good at thumbnails. That's it. They don't have the eye for anything else, and it's weird. It's just, I try to explain it. Back in the day, I had one of my guys who was pretty much managing our client campaigns on Facebook, do pretty much everything. He was doing my video editing, he was doing my thumbnail design and everything else. And it was just, I mean, he did the best that he could, you know, props to him, but it's just, if you want it professionally done, you have to hire for the job. You can't
Mm,
just have one person do everything, like have your personal assistant do all of the tasks just because she can half-ass it, you know? I don't believe in that. So when I saw, I never had great thumbnails up until, I don't know, maybe a year ago. I want to say a year ago, maybe, yeah, about a year ago. And then when I hired that agency, I was like, wow, like I can, dude, just the difference, like it's levels, you know, you can tell. So, and it gets attention and whatever. And yeah, thumbnails is probably one of the most important things, you know, 100%. And then obviously the content. I mean, a lot of people would argue that the thumbnails don't matter so much anymore. It's just the content and whether or not you can actually uh, have people stick through the video and
of
make sure
course.
that the watch time's high and everything else. But yeah, man, for me, it's a funny story how I started the YouTube channel. Like I just started it because I was tired of people telling me, like, who are you? You're a nobody. So I was like,
Mm,
you know what? I'm gonna keep making videos so one day I'm at least recognized in the solar industry. So that was like, I didn't want to make money off of it. I didn't want nothing. I just wanted. I realized from the very first video that I made that that was gonna be my business card. Like that's it. Hey, you want to know about me? All right, cool. Check me out on YouTube. That's it. That's my content. That's what I
love
stand
that.
for. Like that's literally it. You know. So that was it for the YouTube. You know, I wasn't expecting anything out of it.
One thing you do with your content creation, which I don't do well, I need to get better at, is you make intentional videos. So like you go on, you choose a topic, it seems, and you talk for 5-10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
the clip and the content is created for a YouTube video. For me, my way of just getting a bunch of content out there is we do live streams or I'll do training
Yeah.
sessions or webinars, and then those segments will be clipped, but they're not
Mm.
specifically they're not super HD. The editing is not purposely for it. The engagement factor as well. Like one thing you do really well is your engagement at the beginning. You'd be like, "This is what I'm going to talk about. This is what I'm," and so catches people in.
Right.
When did you start doing that? And I'm sort of just asking for me. I didn't start as a content creator. I'm a trainer. I'm a sales
Right.
guy, and I've just been
Right.
learning
Right.
the
Right.
content game along the way. Did you
Right. Right.
see when you started doing that type of like intentional? I'm going to film a 5-10 minute video of this, and I'm going to specifically get it edited for engagement. Did you see a sizable like boom in views and engagement there? And what was
Yes.
that?
100%. Yes. So intentional videos always would outperform something that's just generically put out there. You know,
Mhm.
unless it's somebody that's known already, like known, made a name for themselves and people just want to watch, talk, whatever. Um, you know, unless it's someone like that and it's super generic content, I think just target, laser focusing on like one matter, you know, or a topic per video, it will
Mhm.
just skyrocket everything else because the way people find you, believe it or not, is search, but also like on the recommended. So a lot of people watch YouTube stuff, and they search for it, but they also you come up in the recommended, and if it's not something laser, like thumbnail looks, oh wow, like it makes me want to click here, and then the headline looks pretty, you know, pretty good, and then it just makes you want to click and see what's in there, you know, and so yeah, I would say 100%. I mean, it would. I think your content is really good, man, it's. I think it's for people that are already familiar with your work and people that already know who you are and things like that. I think, you know, obviously, you know, if having a mixture of those, I don't think removing content. I mean, keeping content on the platform will never harm you, like for
Right.
sure. But it's just adding an additional piece where you just do super laser targeted videos, you know, good thumbnails, headlines, and things like that. It's just it will make, because you have a lot of things to talk about. You have a ton of experience, ton of knowledge, right? But just positioned and presented differently, it will make all the difference. You
Yeah,
know?
the intentional videos, because I'm lazy when it comes to content creation because I've got so much other shit going on that I'll do the podcast, the webinars on Wednesdays, the training sessions Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then that is my editing team takes that and there's the content. But however, repurposing that content, like if you look at a video that you do or an Alex Hormozi style video, it is, I'm making this for YouTube and it's, today I'm going to be talking about this. This is the thing, boom, and it's just nonstop, 5 minutes, engagement, everything there. Mr. Beast style of engagement. It is purposeful. And what that would take is me having more time on my schedule to go over the same topics, but in a different format. And that's where it starts to hurt because I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I have any more time. But yeah, a lot of people have been telling me that I need to make intentional content specifically for that.
100%. 100% is just, I mean, I guess you could do something where, you know, you have someone follow you around and then, you know, you make content that way, but it's still hard, bro. I mean, it's still hard. If you want to be found for, you know, specific topics and stand out for those specific topics, like I mean, intentional content definitely matters because people's attention span has definitely shortened, you know, 100%. They're just not willing to. And I think Alex Hormozi, I do want to say something. He said it hasn't shortened. It's just the content game is so competitive now. I don't know if you've ever heard him say that, which I agree with, because I can sit there and watch a Joe Rogan podcast for like literally 3 hours without blinking, you know, and that without checking my Instagram, things like that, whatever. But I'll sit there and watch the podcast, right? But I can't watch like a 2-minute tutorial teaching me how to do something important. Like I you know, so it doesn't make sense. So just the quality, how it is presented, and in thinking about, hey, thinking in terms of a 5-second increments. You know, kind of like the TikTok culture. You know, hey, that 5 seconds, did I keep their attention? Boom, I buy another 5 seconds. Did I keep their attention? Boom, I buy myself another 5 seconds. Boom, and it's just like that, right? And the next piece will buy me another 10 seconds. The next piece will buy me another 15 seconds, right? Because the more, if it's a 5-minute video and they're already seen half of it, they're more likely to see the other half. But the first half, if they've only seen like 30 seconds of it, their decision-making process, is that worth my other 4.5 minutes? Or is it not? And a lot of people at that point, that's why they don't grow on YouTube, because their watch time's shit. And people end up leaving after like 20, 30 seconds. They don't have time. They're like, I'm here to find out. So for people that do tutorial videos, for example, they're like, so my name is this and the channel is this and you can follow. Bro, I just want to find out how to do my freaking Google Sheets. Show me. Stop talking about yourself. Show me, okay? Because the way it works is, I mean, really, like if you show me and then I see another video in the recommended or whatever or suggested, and it ends up being by you again, I'll see it. Okay, straight to the point, dude. Whatever. I end up watching 10 of your videos. Now I get deep into your channel. They're like, okay, I can find out more about this person. Maybe he's got like let me see what he does or whatever. So that's how it works, right? Yeah. So, but it's super crucial, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for years. Like ever since I started Virtual Solar Club, it's like I've never seen VSC as a business or sales. I come from selling homeowners. So my ads and our copy and our creative and our funnels and our engagement and our sales strategy for homeowners dialed in exactly what it should be that I know works. But when I make content for VSC, when the training side, the community, because I'm not seeing it as a business, as training, I'm really just seeing it as I want to help people. Like, but that's not, that might sound nice, warm and fuzzy, but it's actually detrimental to them because you have to hack their engagement just like you would a homeowner, just like you would at the end customer
every 5 seconds.
in order to make the topic impactful. Yeah, I know. I've been saying I need to do this for so long. It's just,
yeah. I mean, it's so funny, man. You know, I I heard Hermosi talk about this, but I genuinely, before he said it, I was thinking about that. I felt so when I started, I felt guilty making content. Because I was like, that's definitely not an income producing activity right now.
Yeah,
It's really not, right? And we're all sales guys, and it's just that's not gonna make you money right now. What's gonna make you money is being on the phone and talking to people, right? And that's how I used to see it until one day I was like, well, dude, you know what? That YouTube channel is making me money. That YouTube channel is bringing me clients. So I had it backwards all this time, and so no, I think actually now I see the content game just as important as everything else that I'm doing, because when you have when you build yourself, when you build a brand for yourself, you know, all of a sudden, not just getting yourself clients, like getting new hires, it becomes so much easier. Now I can make a YouTube video, I can get 100 applicants, like literally within 2 days,
that's true.
easy. And so and they're happy to work for me because they've been watching me for months, some of them even years, and they've watched my progression and they've seen everything. So yeah, now I see content creation just as important as everything else that I'm doing with my other businesses. So yeah, 100%. Now I think the game has shifted. I think it was looked down upon, the content game, but now I think it's shifting. People are starting to realize that, first of all, we're addicted to our phones like 24/7. They're
Yeah,
watching content. The idea is they're either watching my content or they're watching somebody else's content. I want them to watch my content, you know?
I love the content creation tips. But the thing is, though, what I keep hearing is that every social media platform is different. But I think what you just said will work on any platform. So, like, maybe it's a two-part question. What other social media platforms are you using? And what are the differences you're noticing when you're posting and making content on them?
Honestly, man, the only platform that I have for business is YouTube, you know? That's the only platform that I really post things that lead to bringing me more business. Anything else? I mean, I would say Instagram as well, because then I get a lot of the following that I have from my YouTube channel. Some of them follow me on Instagram too. But I would say now, I mean, my Instagram is a lot more generic and just lifestyle and whatever. But other than that, it's just honestly, it's YouTube. I don't even go on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, I haven't been on Facebook for like months. And the only platforms that I use are like literally YouTube, because I'm a consumer of YouTube. That's where I learn my information. That's where I learn about new topics and things like that. What's going on in the world, like news and whatever. Everything that I know stems from YouTube. I might end up buying someone's course to learn more, but I'm saying the origination was always YouTube. So yeah, I would say Instagram and YouTube, but YouTube more. Um, I would say more consistent for business, and everything else just
See, it
you
just
know.
surprises me because you spend so much time, energy, and money on these videos and thumbnails, and like all you have to do is for free post it, and all these other platforms cost you nothing, maybe a little bit of time, or somebody else just do it,
Yeah.
and those videos very possibly, more than likely, will go viral also, and you're just
Oh
looking
man,
at
100%.
another whole audience for not doing much more effort. I just see what's the reason? Is there a specific reason why you wouldn't just put same videos right on there without using much time?
Like TikTok, for
Yeah. So
example. That's an
Yeah,
easy one.
yeah,
TikTok
yeah.
would be perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry. So my assistant, I do have like a couple of TikTok channels that we were experimenting. So
Nice.
everything that I have on my Instagram and on my, I don't know if it's 100% everything, but yeah, it's pretty much up there. But everything that I have on Shorts. I
Mm.
have on my Instagram Reels, and I have on TikTok. But I don't go on TikTok. I don't know what's going on TikTok.
Got
You
it.
know, I'm not a consumer of TikTok because these platforms are like, you got to be careful, bro. These platforms are
Oh,
super addictive. Like all of you start scrolling, like time goes by super quick. Like it's insane. So yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to mention TikTok, but see, it just went out of my mind because I'm not the
yeah.
one posting it. You know, my team does everything. So yeah, TikTok's definitely one of them. But you know, just
You
YouTube.
should
Yeah.
you should check out. So your videos are like 5 to 15 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes each. So
Hmm.
TikTok right now, and we're going to start doing this as well. TikTok right now is really trying to monetize on advertising. They're trying to get like big clients there. And the way they're trying to do that, they have the advertising platform, but they want to be able to advertise with different types of ads, like mid-roll ads. So like YouTube, if you don't have a
Okay.
subscription, you watch, 1 or 2 ads during a 5-10 minute YouTube video.
Right.
So
Right.
they just released, I think only a few weeks ago, that they really want longer form content there, and to try to create the meta of TikTok as not just short form, but also a long form, even just horizontal. Like I know it looks bad with the
Wow.
black things, but they want you to then turn your phone and watch long form content on TikTok so they can put mid roll ads eventually in the middle of those videos. So
Wow.
apparently they're boosting long form plus more than a minute long, like 5-10 minute content right now on TikTok to try to encourage that. So you might even just want to do that, like literally just post the full unedited
Wow.
5-10 minute clip straight on TikTok and see how it does.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's great. I didn't even know you could post long
Yeah.
form content. Is that
It's
something recent that happened, or has
Yeah,
it been going
it's
on for a while?
well, you could have posted long form content a while back, but only now, and it didn't look good because if it was horizontal and not portrait, you had like the black pieces at the top and bottom, right?
Right.
But
Right.
now what they've done is if you have a long form piece of content, it shows it that, but then you just click one button and then your phone goes horizontal and
Mm.
you see the full thing. So they're trying to do that. And in my mind, whenever a platform is trying to achieve something, they're going to boost the people that
A
are
hundred
doing what
percent.
they want them to do, right?
That's
So
crazy. So I'm gonna end up reposting all of my content on
do it.
freaking TikTok.
Why not?
Do it. Yeah. Just even test it out with your top 5 or 10 videos or something and just see how they do, you know?
Yeah, no, that's amazing, bro. Thank you. I'm gonna use that for sure.
Check it out.
Speaking of making content, obviously a lot of your content is for the solar community and
Yeah.
getting recruiting or training, whatever it is. But I'm
Yeah.
sure you can easily turn on self-gen, get to homeowners, getting that content made for homeowners. Are you doing anything? Are you making any content for homeowners? Are you doing anything kind of like that? Or
I thought about that, man. I thought about that. I just don't, I've been told, like, one of the people that I work with, he was on my creation team. He actually mentioned that. He was like, "What about that?" I was like, I never thought of that. So I don't know. So because homeowners are a lot more than us, right? So it will bring in a lot more views than what I'm getting right now. And so, yeah, it definitely got me thinking. I just never started doing it, to be honest with you. So it might be something that I do in the future, to be honest.
I
look
think
out, world.
content creation for back end customers for blue collar industries, because it's happening. This is almost a similar conversation to what we had before about it's
Mm,
happening everywhere else other than solar, and us solar
right,
guys aren't picking up on it. So like who
right.
are some of the biggest like TikTokers or YouTubers? They all own businesses. They're all pushing their businesses. Or like if you took a more
Mm,
traditional industry like real estate, one of the biggest influencers like on planet Earth is Ryan Serhant or whatever his name is. He has tens of millions of followers. I don't know if you know that guy. He does TikTok views and he's been
yeah,
on
yeah, of
TV
course, of
shows.
course. Yeah, he's
And
pretty famous.
he's in real estate. Like this is a similar industry to solar. He's not selling
Mm,
random items. So I think, especially with what's all the regulation that's happening with like cold and age leads and opt-in and blah blah blah, I think that in a matter of maybe even a year to 2 years, cold callers, we might even start focusing our attention towards content creation. And what excites me about this is I always like to think like, what's the ultimate example of this? If you could snap your fingers and just have this already set up, what would it look like? This is one of those exciting ones. If you snapped your fingers and let's just say you had like 10,000 followers, homeowner followers.
Right. Right.
They followed you, and for you mentioned how you said you had people had known you for weeks, months, years. Like I get that as well.
Right.
I've been watching you for 6 months. I already know you. I already like you. You've already added
Right.
value to me. I'll buy any
Right.
product you want, any course, any training, because I already know you're a badass. Imagine that with a following of even just like 10,000 homeowners, which is not much. There's millions and millions, tens of millions of homeowners.
Right.
10,000 homeowners. You're getting thousands of views of videos about energy savings and solar. Imagine the quality of lead that you would get from there. We're not talking an
Wow.
inbound lead from an ad. We're not talking cold call. We're talking about a homeowner who's been following you for 4 months, 5 months. Then they just got a power bill that doubled. They think, fuck, I need to do something about this. Who's the first guy that comes to mind? They go to YouTube channel, they fill in the lead form or whatever, they line up. Dude, they're going to enter that call. This is like my fantasy world. Maybe this is not going to be as true, but imagine that they go on a call with you and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to show you the stuff. And they're pretty much saying, man, I've been following you for 6 months. If I'm going to go solar, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be with you. Like,
Wow.
and that, like, you know, because you specifically said
Bro,
you
I
had
never. I'll be honest with you. Like I've never thought of that. I've
Right.
never thought of that. That's crazy.
It is
I
crazy.
mean,
mean,
it's even bigger
if it-
too. There's not only homeowners, it's referrers too. But Evan, keep going. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh man, that's actually really good. Really good. You know, I thought
Yeah.
about so when that was brought up to me originally, I just wanted to get more mainstream so we can get more views, more subscribers to the channel and whatever. So we have a mixture of, you know, kind of like the solar industry, so super laser targeted solar, and then people that are kind of like getting into solar. And then on the other hand, we have content specifically for homeowners, which you just said. Wow. But I never thought about like the end goal being just
Right.
getting a bunch of deals out of it too, you know?
Right.
So
I
that's
think
crazy.
that solar companies in even just 2 or 3 years, they're not going to be hiring sales reps. What they're going to be going after is the solar influencers that already have 100,000 followers and are getting 100 insanely hot leads every single day. Imagine if you could run a Facebook ad for free and it gave you 100 leads every single day, but they weren't just leads. They're people that knew you, trusted you, and wanted to buy exactly what you have like day one. How valuable would that like that brand for a solar company be? I think in a
Right.
few years, solar influencers are going to be signing $250 million Joe Rogan Spotify deals to solar companies and every other industry.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Bro, you sat there and thought about that for a while, huh? That's crazy. Bro, that's, you know, it's crazy that now that you're bringing this up, I might have to look into it a lot more, you know? That's crazy. But I don't see a reason of why it wouldn't happen. I mean, everyone's starting to consume content regardless of how old they are. All of my relatives, regardless of age and whatever, they all are freaking social media, you know, so
Yeah.
they know how to use it now. And actually, it's funny that they actually consume a lot more content than the younger people. It's so crazy. Like they just glued to the freaking phone because they've never had it before. They're like,
Right.
whoa, that's crazy. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm starting to think in that direction now because I think it's possible. I genuinely think it's possible because why not, right? If they
Mhm.
respond to stupid ads on Facebook, why wouldn't they respond to someone genuine on YouTube talking about how it is, you know? So yeah, I'm with you, bro.
And think about it. This would open up doors for the young kids that want to get into industries like solar and want to sell remote, but don't have ad spend. They don't have thousands of dollars to throw at you. So what do you usually say? Like you said, jump on the phones, man. It's cheap as shit. Get some leads jumping into dialer.
Right.
Now, here's another form of free lead generation that they can do. And it's just pure elbow grease, just sweat equity. The issue
Right.
that I think a lot of people are going to have is even today, if you ask like an average, you know, sales guy, so 25 plus maybe, you know, do you post
Mhm.
on TikTok or do you create content? They're going to be like, oh, I'm not a content creator. That's fucking weird.
Right.
You know, they're going to have
Right.
that. And I think that's going to be a big hurdle for people to overcome. which I actually like, because that enables people like us who are used to the content creation game to start jumping in, just crushing it, because we realize, no, content is king, man. If you're not comfortable, if you think it's stupid and just kids dancing on TikTok, then you're just behind. You don't understand the new form of marketing, right?
Oh man, I'm so with, and while you were talking, I was just thinking about how do we get leads nowadays through ads anyways? What is the lead generation process? It's a piece of content that gets
Mm-hmm.
presented to them while they're minding their business on social media, and it gets them interested, and then they go further into looking into it, filling out a form, going through a landing page, learning more about it. That's
Work.
exactly what they do. Like a lot of the times, like if you run ads on YouTube, what are ads on YouTube? They're videos. Just like I could do a video, organic video, and getting attention for it. So actually, what you said starts to make more and more sense, like as we go on. It makes sense, bro. It's content. It's just we're not paying for it. We're paying with our time and effort and energy, but it's organic content that gets suggested to people. So, and as you said, I think that's gonna continue to happen, because I've seen more and more people that are you know sub 35. They're starting to look into solar and more long term and things like that. So yeah, I'm with you on this. So yeah, I might start making content for homeowners then.
There you
Speaking of
go,
making
man.
content, are you doing anything else, like making podcasts or any kind of other things I'm thinking of?
The podcast, I don't. I've always wanted to do a podcast, to be honest with you, but I was just like, who am I gonna do a podcast with? It's like we are like the solar industry is super small. I could do. I mean, look, I've seen. That's how I learned, right? That's how I learned. When I started in solar, I learned from podcasts. There was like one. There was like Solarpreneur. I don't know if you remember
Oh
that.
yeah, Taylor
There
Armstrong,
was
baby.
like yeah, yeah. So there was another one, which was it was a chick talking. So I can't remember what it was, but I learned a lot about solar from that podcast as well. So, but I always thought about doing a podcast, and it just I don't know, it just never really resonated with me that much, even though I like the idea of it. But I was just like, hey, YouTube videos are just short, concise. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to, look for people to do a podcast with. It's just me. I'm
Not easy.
responsible, my inputs and everything. But yeah, a podcast, it's an amazing idea that I never really pursued.
You post, because your content is like, I'll do an hour and a half training topic every week. I'll do
Yeah.
6-7 hours of live training a week. I'll do a few hours of podcast with Joe a week. But your content is like 5 to 15 minutes, which is a perfect, like, digestible short form. How the
Right.
fuck do you come up with so many topics? Because I have been
Bro,
doing
it's just
webinars every week, hour and a half, one topic for like 3 years, and I cannot think of any other topics to cover.
Which is amazing
man,
on
it's
its own
just
merit.
yeah, it's just doing it's a combination of doing research, and seeing what's out there, like what are other content creators in the industry posting about, and then also looking at their videos. Okay, what are the videos that performed on their channel the most? And then okay, I'm just looking to maybe replicate, talk about the same topic, but in my own words, my own style, and things like that. That's one way to do it. And then also, I pictured the guy, because my audience now, it's predominantly people that are, and that's shifted obviously over the years, but predominantly now my audience is people that are just kind of like they've either been in they're either in solar, for the past up to 6 months, or they're literally just getting started and they're looking into information, and they just found out my content. So So yeah, I would say I try to picture that guy. I'm like, okay, so what are they struggling with? What are they what are the questions that they're having? You know, I look at now that I get more views than I used to get, you know, 2 years ago, and now I'm getting comments and things like that, and a lot of the topics for future videos actually hidden in comments too. If you're getting any comments or
That's a good
whatever, you
one.
know, people ask you. They're like, okay, what about this? I'm like, oh, okay, you know, that sounds pretty good. So
Yeah.
if that person asked it and had the audacity to, not the audacity, but they took the time to actually put it in the comment, that means there's other people that are not saying they're thinking about it. So I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah.
okay, so I'll just make a topic about that. So just a few ways, you know,
Yeah.
and then I'll come up with like 3 to 5 topics. I'll shoot them every single week. Lately, I haven't been as consistent with the content because I'm working on other projects, but usually that's my schedule. That's what I do. So I sit down, a couple of hours, boom, boom, boom. You know, I look at, you know, what's the type of content that I'm gonna do. Then I bullet point every single video, and because it needs to be structured, and then the next day, or what, you know, or I take kind of like half a day or whatever out of the week, and I just shoot the content pretty much. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's how I get topics now. Really, is the only way is like what are people talking about in the community? What
Yeah.
questions are they having? Like, oh, a lot of people are having issues with this specific thing the past week. Let me expand on it. So do you grab all your topics and then you shoot all your videos in one day for the week?
Oh yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Like I can't.
Yeah. No way.
Another cool hack that I'm gonna give you for shooting content is, so yeah, I'm not gonna go there, but it's like, you know, your cameras stand on a they usually sit on a tripod.
Mhm.
So let's say, okay, for one, I think one of the biggest hacks for a content creators, bro, just get 2 cameras. Okay, don't do it with one camera. Just get 2 cameras, 2 angles,
Mm.
just like the TV or the news, where it's like if they cut, if they have, I don't know, they have a what do you call it, lapse? What do you call it? I don't know. Like they cut it out and they literally go to the next camera and it doesn't even look
Right.
like it's, you know, you stop talking. So it's a lot more attention grabbing. It keeps people's attention
Oh,
switching
I like that.
between the two. It's really good, and it doesn't have to be
Oh,
second camera 6 inches apart. Doesn't have to be like from the side or whatever, because a lot of people worry about, oh, I just have like one corner in the room that I have for my content. I don't have like the whole room doesn't look like that freaking glorious. So
right.
just it doesn't have to be like super far apart. Just 6 inches next to each other. Bam, 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 bam. Right. Switch between the two. So that would be my
Okay.
number one. Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
saying that so that you don't have to like hit it perfectly in one take, but you can switch between the angles to make it look like it's
Yeah.
nice and fluid that you're hitting it in one
Yes,
take.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's
Yes,
good.
sir. Yeah, yeah. That I had another thing that I wanted to mention. It was something that you mentioned, or maybe anyway, if I think of it, I'll say it, but I forgot. It's something to do again with the content, but I just completely forgot. Oh yeah, the audience. So you remember how you asked me like the how you come up with how I come up with like topics and things like that. So also, as I said, my audience actually changed over the years. So it went from people that are only interested in lead generation to people that are just interested in starting solar businesses,
Mhm.
dealerships. They want to get into solar sales, whatever, but they're brand new, right? So always thinking about not just the content that you're making now, but the trajectory of your content in months to come. What type of individual are you talking to? If you had to picture it like sitting right in front of you on the chair, what do they look like, right? What do they do currently, right? What are their issues? What are their problems? And then create videos about the topics that they're going to be interested in, and like literally have that perfect avatar of an individual pictured in your mind, and then you will understand, okay, I see what, okay, so Josh is just getting started. He has a 9 to 5 job and is looking to get into solar, or for you, it might be somebody who's already in solar, but maybe is doing door knocking and is tired of it and whatever, right? So you picture that person, you're like, okay, what are they going through on a day-to-day basis? What is the something that they would really love to do? And just thinking about that perfect avatar and making content around the topics that you believe they'll be interested in. And yeah, your content attracts a certain type of audience for sure. Okay, for sure. So
Yeah. One thing about your stuff that I've seen is it is very much geared towards people that are just moving in. So there's not a lot of technical stuff. It's just doing what are the questions people are asking when they first look at it. Whereas I've always been on the technical side of, okay, you're already in solar, let me make you better. So, for example, that intentional content that I do need to start, the idea, I guess I should start doing, because the amount of people that are in solar right now versus the amount of people that will be in solar in a year or two is just like completely and utterly different. The amount of people that are going to flood into the industry over the next few years.
a lot,
So,
right? A lot. You see it that way?
yeah.
You see it that way too?
It's ridiculous. It goes up and down, but it's in the US. You mentioned the market penetration. The Australian market, where I come from, has a 35% market penetration nationwide, and some cities have 60 to 70. The US is like 3 or 4% nationwide, and utility rates are doubling. So obviously, the industry is going to absolutely boom. And so, yeah, I think the intentional content that we're talking about, that type of format, would be really good for, okay, Josh, don't start going technical. Just what are the beginner thinking, and create content around that. So it's certainly something on the to-do list. And I see you've done that pretty well. You always keeping it pretty general, answering the basic questions that people have when they first jump in. And then obviously you said your audience is primarily people that are starting out. So that's a good frame to have, because they're going to go to you
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also another hack that I can give you is, if you don't already utilize that, is people are lazy. They're just like, they're lazy. They don't want to look through your content. They're lazy to scroll through your content, and kind of like, they want to know what you know, but they're just lazy. Okay. And they don't know where to start, because YouTube's obviously very sporadic. I mean, you can have a video talk about this, and then you can have a video talk about something completely different, right? So it of course, it doesn't follow any structure or anything else like that. Unlike a course. So if they were to get into your program, I think very systemized, very structured, right? But the video, the YouTube stuff, that's not the case. So one thing I could say is making playlists around certain topics. Okay, you want to learn about selling over the phone? All right, these are my top 10 videos. You want to learn about lead generation? All right, these are my top 10 videos, and having that in every single video in the description box. I think that helps people a lot. There's like a sequence. It's almost like a course, like a mini course that they could go through, bam, 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 bam. And I call it the spider web effect, where it's like, spiders will build like a web, and it'll just wait for flies to pass through or try to pass through, and then the fly will just stick, right? And it's the same thing with the content. It's just, when people get stuck watching your content, the idea is to never let them go. Just keep them there until one day they buy into the idea or the product or the program that you have, and that's the end result. So yeah, I think playlists are huge.
Nice. I like it.
The solar boss, Ivan Pashoff. Hey, I've been saying it the whole time. I've been saying it right, Ivan?
Bro, 100% right. Yes. For me, it's like, I'm like potato. As long as I know you're calling my name, I'll turn around. So
I was gonna ask you, who inspires you, bro? Like, how gave you the inspiration to do the things you're doing today, man? Anybody?
Who inspires me today? I have a lot of people around me. Very fortunate to have people now around me that are much further ahead, and I just look up to them, and I'm just like, bro, I'm just fucking nowhere. Okay, like I need so much. I need to do so much more to be able to do the things that they do. And yeah, I'm still in the grind mode, bro. I'm still, I'm not chilling or anything else. It's just, for me, I'm in Miami. It's like, it's really nice, but for me, that's a change of scenery. It's not really like, oh, are you on a vacation? No, I'm not. I'm actually working more when I'm here. So, and I get a lot more done when I'm here than when I'm back home, because of the time zone difference and everything else. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know how. I hope I had a better answer for that, but just, people, just, it's important who you surround yourself with,
Yep.
and we as men, we need to be surrounded by other men that are doing, just as well as us or better than us, because you don't know, man. That drive, like, I want you to win, but then I also want to, crush you. So is that always in the back of your mind? It's like, I like the competition. I like to, be surrounded by people who are also winning in life, and yeah, it's just, I look up to the people around me.
You mentioned Alex Hormozi a few times. You got any like influencer guys that you follow pretty religiously?
I watch Andrew Tate's content because it's entertaining. You know, I like Andrew
There you
Tate.
go.
But it's not really like for any specific thing. It's just he's entertaining. He's really good. But Alex Hormozi is good. I wouldn't say I follow his content like religiously, but I have watched a lot of his content for sure. 'Cause I've got his books, read him a few times, whatever, amazing. I always say to people that are starting out, they're $100 million offers, $100 million leads, bro. That's your freaking Bible. Don't even do anything without reading those two books. It's just, what other content creators? I would say Joe Rogan, you know, Joe Rogan, Andy Frisella. Andy Frisella is someone that I've been listening to for years. 4 years. Andy Frisella, and then that's pretty much it, man. I don't watch too many people. I don't consume. I watch my friends on Instagram sometimes. So, but that's pretty much it.
Love it.
Bro, man, I really appreciate you. You've dropped so many nuggets for the audience, man. And if anybody wants to reach out to Ivan Pashov, the Solar Boss, how can they reach out to you, man?
Just my YouTube channel, bro. My YouTube channel. If you getting into solar, if you like to learn more, whatever, just another perspective, because I know you guys are also in solar. Yeah, just check all of us out. Not just
There
me.
you
Just
go.
check everybody
Learn
out.
no matter what.
Different perspective, and on Instagram too. It's just my first and last name, so IvanPashov. So Ivan Pashov .official. On Instagram. Yeah, I'm happy to connect with people.
Anything else, Josh?
Good stuff. Thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate you,
Thanks for
man.
having me, guys.
Awesome. We're definitely gonna
Appreciate
collaborate
you
more,
guys.
bro.
Thank you.
Let's go.
All right,
Yes,
guys.
sir.
Take it
Peace.
easy.